There is, of course, only one thing to talk about this Shabbat morning, which is Ukraine. And we are so blessed that Barbara Gaffin and Betsy Hecker, who have both worked for years in this space, have agreed to share their ideas with us. What is happening to Ukraine, to all of its citizens, what is happening to the Jewish citizens, of which there are a lot, and they are vulnerable, and of course, on everyone's mind, what can we do to help? So Barbara and Betsy, we're so grateful for your Torah on this very urgent topic, on this very urgent day. Thank you for being here.
Shabbat Shalom. First, I want to thank Wes and Eliza for giving us this opportunity. Obviously, it's an issue that we're all consumed with, well, most of us are consumed with, and we think it's very important to share with you a little bit of the background of the Boston Jewish community's involvement with a large city in Ukraine, Dnipro, used to be Dnipropetrovsk, but they changed the name to be more Ukrainian, to Dnipro, several years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that means we can't talk to each other?
Well, you can. Elisa and I go all the time.
So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit of, I would have brought my footstool up here. Okay, I could talk with up on my toes.
I knew there was one.
Yeah, thank you.
So much.
Much better. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the origins of the Dnipro Kehila project, which is a project that the Boston Jewish community started in the early 1990s, and a little bit to give you a context about the Jewish community in Ukraine, and Betsy will, and obviously what you can do, and Betsy will tell you a little bit about the situation going on now and the role of the Boston Jewish community in helping the Jews in Ukraine. The project began, as I mentioned, in the early 1990s. It was a response to the breakup of the Soviet Union, when Jewish communities, which had been denied the opportunity to be a real Jewish community with institutions and with synagogues and with newspapers and schools, when the Soviet Union first started, back in the 20th century, the Jews had been a very major community. I'm sure you all know that much, with synagogues and schools. And then when the Soviet Union began, all of that stopped, and Jews could no longer have any of these institutions. So for 70 or so years under communism, Jews had absolutely no Jewish education. The synagogues that they had were very small little shtibels, and most of the Soviet Jews, the Jews from the former Soviet Union that you meet who are here in our country now, will tell you that they knew nothing about Judaism growing up. And so the fact that there are those who are involved in the Jewish community today is a real testament to how things had changed. And Ukraine was no different. So in 1989, during the breakup of the former Soviet Union, Ukraine, too, like other countries, had no Jewish anything. And the rabbi that was sent there, a Chabad rabbi, was appointed by the Rebbe, Schneerson, to start a Jewish community. So he came not speaking Russian, not speaking Ukrainian, having no money. There was nothing that a Jewish community needed to thrive and be successful. But little by little, he began to build. And that's where the Jewish community in the United States came in, because through the National Conference on Soviet Jewry, because all of these Jewish communities had nothing and were all beginning anew, we were all encouraged to have a sister city relationship with the particular city in the former Soviet Union, in the now the new republics, and to help them build their Jewish community. We chose Dnipropetrovsk at the time because, number one, they had a very strong medical academy, and we could pair with them by sending physicians over, teaching updated providing medical equipment, and teaching all kinds of new, what's the word? Techniques, thank you. See, I knew we need to be next to each other. And so the Boston Jewish community chose Dnipropetrovsk. We also we were very impressed with the rabbi there, and we began that relationship. We started off by having very small and exchanges. We were able to send the Jewish schools here and Hebrew schools made artwork that we were able to send over to the Jewish school in Dnipro, and many of those kinds of just people-to-people exchanges. And it grew, and eventually we set up medical exchanges. We set up a women's and children's health clinic, and Brani Marcus, he was part of that effort. And if you recall Ben Sachs, who used to be a member here when he lived in the Boston area, he ran the women's clinic. He was the person to make that happen. And David Link, Zichrono Livracha, was in charge, and he set up the children's clinic that was that we helped establish in Dnipropetrovsk. Also, Ann Levin, who was a member here before she moved to Florida, she was a chair. So we have a very strong Temple Emmanuel connection. She was chair of the effort, and of course, Betsy has been the chair of the effort now for more years than she probably cares to remember. And others, other members of Emmanuel have traveled there. It's too many for me to mention everybody. So that was how the project emerged, and it became larger and larger. We brought physicians from Ukraine, from Dnipro, here to Boston. They trained at Beth Israel and other hospitals, and we sent our physicians over there. We helped set up a Jewish medical center. So it became a very successful project, and it's still going, still going on to this day. One of the important things that you need to know about Ukraine and about Dnipro in specific is that Dnipro has the largest Jewish building, center, whatever term you want to use, in all of Europe, maybe in the entire world. It's called the Menorah Center. And if you Google it after Shabbat, you will see that it is literally built in the shape of a menorah. And it's an office building. It hosts a hotel. It hosts kosher restaurants. It hosts all the Jewish organizations. And if you ever have a chance to go to Dnipro, God willing, after this, it remains in Ukrainian hands, it is quite a place to visit. It is walking through like a mini Israel. And, it's a little scary because all the Jews and Jewish organizations and kosher restaurants are all housed there. But I want to take you back because Ukraine has so many connections to probably everybody in this synagogue. Either you yourself may be from Ukraine, or your parents were from Ukraine, your grandparents, your great-grandparents. We all, most of us who are of Ashkenazi descent, have some connection. Or you may think of Ukraine as that horrible place where tens of thousands of Jews were massacred throughout the country, and even when it was part of the, during the Nazi period, during the Holocaust, hundreds of thousands of Jews were murdered and massacred. So many of us have this association that the Ukraine, it's like, oh, that's the place where we were all killed. And ironically, the Jews in Ukraine today identify as Ukrainians, which is also very ironic because during the former Soviet Union days, in your passport or whatever identity card you had, you were your nationality. So if you were, Ukrainian was a nationality, Jew was a nationality. So there's no such thing as being a Ukrainian Jew. No such thing. You were Russian, you were Ukrainian, you were a Jew. And yet, and the Jews in Dnipro, so that's the ones we're focusing on today, and probably like the other Jews in Ukraine, would say, you know, I'm not a Ukrainian, I'm a Jew. And that was understood what that meant. But today, now they identify as Ukrainian Jews. And it is so ironic because this was a place where they were killed, they were bullied, the anti-Semitism was horrific. And now they have a Jewish president and a Jewishly identified president. The chief of staff is Jewish. The prime minister, right when Zelensky, he let go of him, but Zelensky's the prime minister of Ukraine was Jewish. I'm talking about while Ukraine has been independent under Zelensky. And Betsy and I have had the pleasure of meeting President Zelensky personally. He works very closely with the Jewish community, and it is so important to us to have this connection with Ukraine that we all feel that you should not feel helpless. Your half shekel is not necessarily financial, although finances are always important. The most important thing you can do, like Norm said, is write letters, send emails. We don't write letters anymore. You can send an email to our members of Congress and to our senators, urging them to send defensive military equipment. It may be too late in 2 more days. We don't know. We all heard Zelensky say that the fate of the country is moments away. We don't know. So it is that much more important that you send a message after Shabbat. You can easily do it on email. You just look up your member of Congress's name, and they give you an opportunity to on a form, and your message can be very simple: supply Ukraine with military equipment. It's also, if you feel, I know sanctions are controversial for some people, sanctions, much stronger sanctions, if that's what you believe, urge our president to impose much stronger sanctions on the Russian government. Okay, we'll stop there, and Betsy, take it away.
Yeah, I just want to share just a few things that I know are going on currently with the Jewish community in the last couple of days that I've been able to learn because of my role with the Dnipro Kahila project. So, I mean, I think we all have read in the news what's happening with the country as a whole, and I don't know any more about that than you do. But with respect to the Jewish community in Ukraine in general, the Jewish Joint Distribution Committee is working to establish communications with all of their staff in Ukraine, all over the country, and mobilize their social workers. They reported that approximately 10,000 Holocaust survivors, many of whom are homebound, desperately poor and in need of daily care. They're trying to get their coordinators back into caring for those people. They're in close contact with the with Jaffe and Chabad and all of the big organizations who don't always work together are trying to work together to identify Jewish people in need and get them whatever help they can get them. And in Dnipro specifically, I know on Friday before Shabbat it was relatively quiet. We won't hear more from them. You know, Shabbat started 7 hours earlier there, and so we haven't heard from them in a while. I look forward to hearing how they fared. But over 100 people gathered for morning prayers at the synagogue on Friday morning. And again, in the area, they're just trying to take care of the needy, the hungry, and do what they can to keep the community together and as safe as possible. In terms of your half shekel, if you're inclined to do that monetarily after Shabbat, you can. CJP has set up an emergency fund in conjunction with the National Jewish Federations, as well as the Joint Distribution Committee in Jaffe. There's a major fund, and if you go to CJP's website, you can donate to that. There's also an organization more locally based called Action for Post-Soviet Jewry that works with the elderly in the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast primarily. And they also have an emergency fund, and they do much more nitty-gritty supplies on the ground. And so they have an emergency fund also, easily accessed on the internet. And I think for now that will cover it.
Betsy, Barbara, thank you so much for sharing so powerfully about your direct connection with Dnipro and Ukraine and the Jewish community there and the community there at large, and also for giving us the historical context that helps us understand the unique place that the people are feeling. Before you go, I want to ask you just a question, which is, how are you processing this? How are you feeling in your heart as you're watching what's happening in Ukraine, and what's bringing you strength in this moment?
I feel sick about it. And what brings strength is, for me, we know, just watching the president and watching, I mean, Betsy and I, we know the leadership in Dnipro, and including military leadership. There are Jews at very high levels who are putting their lives on the line to protect this country that once murdered their ancestors. That is, that just gives me chills when I think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we try and stay in touch and connected to the extent we can. With regard to the leadership, I tried to let the Jewish community here leadership take that role, not get too entangled in the weeds with them, but just knowing where they are and what they're doing for the community is really important. And I have to say, in all honesty, that I've been going to Minyan in the mornings, and I've been praying harder, and I can feel it when I'm in there.
Thank you both so much for your beautiful words. I want to just hold a space for the anxiety that we as a Jewish community hold. This week, I've found in my body, I felt a hard time catching my breath. And I know there's generational trauma there. I know there is the reality that my ancestors, as you said, they're from that area. And I know that there's this generational trauma that we've seen. I mean, Ukraine is the source of Hasidism. It's the source of Kabbalistic connection and the kind of Judaism that reaches your heart that we don't even think of as a New Age thing anymore. It's just what we do. And that this war could unfold with everyone watching and no one stopping Putin. It's terrifying. So I want to just sit and hold that for a moment, that fear that we're carrying, that terror, that pain, that loss, that brokenness. The images of families being torn apart, of children crying as they get on buses and trains to go away while their fathers stay behind to fight. Fathers who haven't been trained, who are just doing this because they have to protect their country. And we're gonna support them. We're gonna be with them. We are going to send resources. We are going to send our love, and we are going to pray that our government leaders are going to take action. And into this space of fear, into this space of pain, into this space of brokenness, there are no words. So I'm going to offer 2 melodies that I've been humming that have been sources of strength for me this week, and then one I hope we'll sing together. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem, Nachamu, Nachamu. Feel free to join in. Ani Yomar Elohechem, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ani Yomar Elohechem. One more time, we'll sing Nachamu, 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 Ani Yomar Elohechem, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ani Yomar Elohechem. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle with this world. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ani Yomar Elohechem, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ani Yomar Elohechem, Ani Yomar Elohechem, Ani Yomar Elohechem. This next song is Heart of Mine by Marcia Addy. It's a song of reminder that everything that happens in the external world also happens in our hearts. And when we change our hearts, we have the power to go back out and change the world. Oh, heart of mine, lost and find my home is sometimes near and sometimes far, it's always changing. Oh, heart of mine, take the time to feel the sadness. Love is always near. It seems they go together. The walls are coming down, 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 down. And life is going round, 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 round. And love, it will be found, 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 found. It's all inside of you. Oh, moon of mine, to see you shine is as if to wish upon a star. Upon a star, I'm so glad to see you. Oh, moon of mine, the night is time for
spread across the sky. What would we do without you? The walls are coming down, 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 and life is going round, 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 and love it will be found, 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 found. It's all inside of you. Oh, friend of mine, eyes that shine and help me feel that I am not alone. How can I ever thank you? Oh, friend of mine, space nor time will break the bond that holds my heart with yours. I'll always love you. The walls are coming down, 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 down. Feel free to join me. Life is going round, 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 and love is all around, round, 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 round. It's all inside of you. Oh, heart of mine, lost and find, my home is sometimes near and sometimes far. It's always changing. Oh, heart of mine, take the time to feel the sadness. Love is always near. It seems they go together. The walls are coming down, 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 and life is going round, 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 round. Love it will be found, 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 found. It's all inside of you. Oh, say shalom v'roma. Huya, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru. Amen. Oh, say shalom Miramav. Oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru. Amen. Yamba shalom Mirama. Huya, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'iru. Amen. Olam chesed yivaneh. Yanadai, Yavanai. Olam chesed yivaneh. Yavanai, Yavanai. Olam chesed yivaneh. Yavanai. Everyone, I will build this world. I will build this world from love. Yananai, yavanai, and you will build this world, and you will build this world from love. Yananai, yavanai, and we will build this world from love. Yananai, yavanai, then God please build, then God please build this world from love. Yadanai, yavanai, with all our hearts we sing, Olam chesed yivaneh. Yavanai, yavanai, Olam chesed yivaneh. Yavanai, yavanai, Olam chesed, Olam chesed yivaneh. Yavanai, yavanai, Olam chesed yivaneh. Olam chesed yivaneh. Yavanai, yavanai, last time all together. I will build this world from love. Yadanai, yavanai, and you will build this world, and you will build this world from love. Yadanai, yavanai, and we will build this world from love. Yadanai, yadanai, then God please build this world from love. Yadanai, yavanai.